Hey, my name is Carlos and I'm building Cerebro. Cerebro is a tool that I started building for my own frustration, and I decided to start recording these videos so I can keep a log of what we're building, what we're doing, and it's going to be interesting to basically look back and see how far we can actually take this. Right now, we are on version 0.1, and we are basically getting closer to what we envision as the full platform. Cerebro was basically burned by in a frustration because right now, I'm sure that if you are an entrepreneur or a researcher, you consume a lot of content. And the problem is that the tools that we have for now, basically to organize this content and to basically get the information, they're all like pretty much broken. They are not connected at all. And I'm sure that you basically have, for example, if you grab a YouTube video and you throw into ChatGPT, or Notebook LM, for example, or if you grab a PDF or a full book, you're basically going to hit roadblocks. One of them is like you're going to get a summary, but then you need to go into another app like Notion, for example, to be able to like grab those notes and have them in Notion so you can go back later. Like at that point, just basically storing the knowledge there. The other issues that you might find is that if you're trying to basically upload books or things that ChatGPT, for example, deems to be copyrighted, then it won't basically give you the information that you actually need. So, and the other problem is that right now, every single 24 hours, we produce more content than the entire written human history in the first 5,000 years. And with a lot of content basically being produced, it's hard to keep track of what is actually true. One of the things, for example, that drove me into building Cerebro is I always basically watch a lot of like entrepreneurship podcasts, and it was basically hard to understand, for example, what one opinion is true from the other. Like you basically get one expert in one podcast saying one thing, another expert saying another thing, and you often basically ask yourself, well, like if for this person worked this way, why did for this person didn't work? And that's basically why we are building Cerebro, is to solve that. Now, I'm going to jump into Cerebro in a couple of minutes and show you a demo on basically how it works and what you're basically doing. For those that care about stats, this is our Stripe account. Right now, we are sitting at 127 MRR, and we are getting clients pretty much every day, except for the 17th. That was my birthday. We only got one client. And then yesterday, we got 4. Now, these MRR, the reality is actually closer to $200 because the way that basically we know that is based on the 3-day free trial that we basically have, the percentage of people that convert into customers. Now, we basically found that it's harder to get people to convert to the free trial than it actually is for them to convert as a client. As soon as they take a free trial, they basically become a client, and we even have cases, for example, of people that start the free trial, they cancel the free trial, and then they go back and they purchase a higher plan. So our conversion rate is actually great, and if you basically take in consideration the percentage of conversion, this is actually closer to 200 euros MRR in the first 7 days. For those that care about traffic, this is our analytics. Majority of our traffic basically is direct. Then we had there's an AI for that, which was a paid advertising there. Product Hunt, this one is interesting because it was completely organic. People resonated with the product. We don't have an audience. We don't basically have like a lot of followers, but people basically went in, and we had around 119 upvotes or something like that. And then traffic source Facebook, this is basically because you're running Facebook ads. I have an unfair advantage here because I've run Facebook ads since 2017. One thing that we're basically doing in terms of metrics right now is we have around $1.50 per click. We also tried to do LinkedIn ads, but LinkedIn ads were super expensive. We're almost at $3 and no conversion. We actually tried that first. And for $3, that's basically the cost per click that we paid on There's an AI for that. And that converted to clients. So we'd rather basically just, if you're going to spend that amount of money, we'd rather just basically spend that on There's an AI for that though this is not sustainable in the beginning. Like we are spending, we basically set a budget of an initial $2,000 just to test different channels and trying to see if there is a channel that we can scale. Now with Facebook right now, it's hard to say because we don't have enough data yet. We only spend around like $68, yep, at a 3% click-through rate, which is really, really good. If you think about majority of people, majority of companies, when they think about click-through rate, which is here, majority of them just want to have like a 1% click-through rate. Right now we are sitting at 3% click-through rate in a complete cold campaign. Retargeting, usually it's a bit, it doesn't really matter. So that's basically what we are trying to do right now. Another thing that we are doing is starting to try TikTok organic. And I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes one thing that we've been trying to build to basically help us create more content. So Cerebro is basically a platform that allows you to upload any sort of like PDFs, markdowns, text, YouTube links. And then what it does is it interconnects basically the insights between multiple of them. So each one of these like little balls here is a document, and then around it you'll see tags. If we zoom in, you can see all of the tags there. Then it basically shows you which tags connect to what. So if I click, for example, on deep learning, you're going to see that Cerebro is going to start analyzing that tag. These might take like a couple of minutes, especially if like you have like multiple different documents talking about the same thing. Cerebro basically goes in and it basically looks into every single document. And some of these documents we're talking about like hundreds of thousands of characters. Like some of them, like they have like 300 pages, for example, of like 300 pages of books. So Cerebro basically needs to go through all of it and try to basically find, like this deep learning, what is actually source of truth on that. So once this is done, you can see that Cerebro basically gives you like the key insights, document A and B, and also basically the patterns, contradictions, and the summary. So you can know what's basically going on. Now you can basically expand this further. I'm going to show you how. Now the other thing is, if we go, for example, to a document, and I'm going to give you the example of a book. This is a 300-page book. Instead of this document, you are able to like edit this as if it was like in like something like Notion. You have your normal like H1s and H2 tags and so on. The other cool feature about Cerebro is that whenever you upload a source of content, that actual source URL is going to be down here. The reason that we did that is because this then allows you to cross-reference between the summarization and also the content. Like for example, if you highlight something in here, right, and I'm going to just select the highlight in blue. So these highlights, no matter where you are in the document, you can always click on it and jump to it. Then you have the chat. The chat is basically where you can use AI to chat about this document, right, as you would do. The other cool feature about the chat is that you can directly add something to a note from the chat, or you can add it to the document itself by clicking here. And then you have the notebook, which is basically where it allows you to just basically chat like with our chatbot and add the content in here. And then you can also, in both like places, you can also basically grab a reference. So for example, if I'm grabbing the Antonio's Pigafetta Magellan's voyage, I can ask for a TLDR, for example, and it will be able to grab that reference. Now, the cool thing about these references is that they work with just a single document or an entire folder. So if you want basically to grab an entire folder of a topic or a subject, you can also do that. You can just basically go in, and same thing that we did in here, you can just select like a folder here, for example, Ferdinand folder. Now, what we're basically trying to do now is crack TikTok organic. We've been creating a couple of like TikTok posts because we've seen that a lot of like people are trying to basically build in sort of like consumers app and launching TikToks, and the apps basically get a bunch of views. So The problem is that we are basically two people working on this project. I'm taking care of marketing, but I have other responsibilities as well. And then I also do development, and my friend working with me also does development. So one thing that we are basically working on is building this small tool that will allow us basically to produce content super fast. And the whole idea of this tool is just basically for us basically to upload a image and then be able to shuffle the image so we can remix that image. And here's an example of how that would work. We basically add images in the timeline. We can select an image as a product. For example, if we say that this image is a product image, these ones are not, these are regular images. And then we can basically just like create, for example, slideshow type of content. Now we also have like captions where we can add a caption here. So caption 1, then we can add it. And then we can add, for example, caption 2. So the reason we are building these is because we have a couple of ways to basically do this. One is a caption per slide, where we can do, for example, slide 1 is caption 1, slide 2 is caption 2, and so on. Or we can basically change it where it's shuffle. And shuffle basically allows us to test multiple different hooks that are going to go into the video. And the way that it's going to work is once you click on remix, we can create, for example, shuffle existing media or bulk generate videos. If I do, for example, a bulk generation of like 50 videos, I can start basically generating videos, and you're going to see that we have video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's going to generate all of the 50 videos. Now, each of these videos, each one of them is going to have a different caption or a different hook that basically allow us to test what hook is working and what hook is not. Now, that's basically what we are doing. This is over engineering in terms of like how you build something, but I think that this is going to save us a lot of time in order to test like different ads and different ideas that we can add, for example, to TikTok, Lemon8, and other apps to be able to identify if we can basically create like a video that can go viral and promote our little app. So that's what we're building, and I'm going to create another of these videos. Like I'm going to try to create at least one video per week. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed a little bit of like the insights of what is going on. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.